The Lesser Key of Solomon, Lemegeton. Imagine a catalog, like an IKEA instruction manual, but instead of assembling furniture, you're assembling a demon. In the Lesser Key of Solomon, also called Lemegeton Clavicula Salomonis, you'll find a 17th century grimoire containing the names, ranks, abilities, and summoning instructions for 72 demons. The book is divided into 5 sections. The most famous? The Ars Goetia, which lists all 72 demons in meticulous detail. King Baal appears as a cat, toad, or man, grants invisibility, requires a gold seal. Duke Astaroth appears as a corrupted angel riding a dragon, reveals hidden knowledge. His breath is toxic. President Glacia Lobolas appears as a dog with griffin wings, teaches all arts and sciences, incites murder. Each demon has a sigil, a geometric symbol you draw to summon them. Each has specific offerings, specific rituals, specific consequences. But here's the thing. This book was allegedly written by King Solomon, the wisest man in history. Using a magic ring given to him by the archangel Michael, Solomon trapped all 72 demons in a brass vessel and forced them to build his temple. The book is his instruction manual, his prison guard handbook. But Solomon's dead. The demons are free. And now this book is a roadmap for anyone dumb enough to try. People who own copies report paranormal activity. Pages turning on their own, whispers, shadow figures. One owner said the book flew across the room at them. Another said they heard voices chanting the demon names in reverse. And here's the kicker. The book contains a warning. Once you summon a demon, it's bound to you. Even if you dismiss it, it knows your name. It knows your soul, and it will return. What makes the Lesser Key of Solomon disturbing isn't the demons, it's the precision. The book treats demon summoning like a science, like it's repeatable, like it works. And maybe it does, because the only way to break the curse is to burn every page, scatter the ashes, and pray you didn't read too much. The Dictionnaire Infernal. What if someone wrote a demonic encyclopedia, complete with illustrations, biographies, and rankings? And what if it became a bestseller? In Dictionnaire Infernal, written by Jacques-Auguste Simon Collin de Plancy in 1818, you'll find exactly that. A comprehensive encyclopedia of demons, spirits, and occult entities. The book lists thousands of demons, their names, their hierarchies, their abilities, their appearances. And in later editions, it included illustrations. Grotesque, detailed drawings of demons like Baphomet, Asmodeus, and Beelzebub. But here's the twist. The author started as a skeptic. He wrote the book to mock superstition, to debunk demonology. But as he researched, something changed. In later editions, the tone shifted. The mockery disappeared. The entries became darker, more serious, more detailed. People say the book itself is cursed, that researching demons for too long invites them in, that writing their names, drawing their sigils, describing their powers, gives them form. And Jacques Collin de Plancy? He converted to Catholicism after finishing the book. He became obsessed with exorcisms, with salvation, with escaping what he'd unleashed. The genius of Dictionnaire Infernal is this. It's a demon phone book, a directory. And just by reading it, just by learning their names, you're calling them. Because names have power. And now you know 69 of them. The Grand Grimoire. Imagine selling your soul wasn't a metaphor. Imagine a book that gives you the exact contract, word for word, blood signature and all. In the Grand Grimoire, otherwise known as the Red Dragon or the Gospel of Satan, you don't just read about demons. You sign a pact with Lucifer himself. This book appeared in France sometime in the 1500s, but legend claims it was transcribed from writings found in King Solomon's tomb. The book is split into 2 sections. The first teaches you how to summon Lucifuge Rofocal, Lucifer's right-hand demon, the one who guards all the wealth in hell. The second section? It's the contract. The actual word-for-word infernal pact you sign in your blood to get what you want. And here's where it gets dark. The ritual to summon Lucifuge isn't simple. You need a hazel wand cut at sunrise, a bloodstone carved with symbols, a blasting rod made from a branch struck by lightning. Then, at midnight, you draw a double circle with a triangle inside. You recite the invocation. Lucifuge appears. But here's the thing. He doesn't want to obey you. So you threaten him with hellfire. You command him using secret names. You force him into submission. And if you mess up, if you break the circle, if you say the wrong word, he drags you to hell instead. But that's not even the worst part. The book also contains necromancy spells, rituals to reanimate corpses, and instructions on how to make a pact that binds not just you, but your entire bloodline, your children, your grandchildren, all cursed, forever. This isn't about power, it's about damnation. The Grand Grimoire doesn't give you control over demons. It gives demons control over you. And that's why it's allegedly locked in the Vatican's secret archives. Because if it fell into the wrong hands, it wouldn't just destroy one person. It would open the gates of hell. The Book of Soiga. If Lovecraft wrote a real cursed book that actually killed people, you'd get the Book of Soiga. In the Book of Soiga, also called Alderaya, you'll find a Latin essay on demonology, astrology, and angelic hierarchies. Sounds academic, right? Wrong. This book was created in the 16th century and fell into the hands of John Dee, the court advisor and occultist to Queen Elizabeth I. Dee spent years trying to decipher it. Most of it made sense. Demon lists, summoning rituals, standard occult stuff. But then he hit the tables. At the back of the book are 36 tables filled with seemingly random Latin letters. Thousands of them. No pattern, no meaning. Dee became obsessed. He tried everything. Cryptography, numerology, prayer. Nothing worked. So he did what any rational 16th century occultist would do. He summoned the archangel Uriel. Using his medium, Edward Kelly, Dee contacted Uriel through a scrying stone. The angel spoke. He told them the Book of Soiga was created when Adam entered paradise. He said only the archangel Michael could fully decipher the book. And then came the warning. Anyone who deciphers the tables will die. Exactly 2.5 years later. Dee ignored it. He kept working. He obsessed. He descended into madness. And 2.5 years after Uriel's warning, John Dee died. After his death, the book vanished, lost for 400 years. Until 1994, when not one but 2 copies were discovered. One at the British Library, one at Oxford. Here's the genius of the Book of Soiga. It doesn't curse you for reading it. It curses you for understanding it. The knowledge itself is lethal. The book protects its secrets by killing anyone smart enough to decode them. Because some knowledge isn't power. It's death. The Devil's Bible, Codex Gigas. If Satan himself wrote a Bible, this is it. And it weighs 165 pounds. In the Codex Gigas, also known as the Devil's Bible, you'll find the largest medieval manuscript ever created. 310 pages, 36 inches tall, 20 inches wide, 8.7 inches thick. So massive it takes 2 people to lift it. The book was discovered in 1648, when the Swedish army looted Prague. Inside, they found Latin texts, the entire Vulgate Bible, historical chronicles, medical formulas, and exorcism rituals, and a full-page portrait of Satan. On page 290, there's a 19-inch illustration of the devil. He's crouched, naked, grotesque, his tongue hanging out, his claws extended, staring directly at you. The parchment around him is darker than the rest of the book, stained. Some say by blood, others say by the presence of evil itself. Here's the legend. The book was written by a monk named Herman the Recluse. He broke his monastic vows. His punishment? To be walled up alive and left to starve. The night before his execution, Herman begged for mercy. He promised to write a book that would glorify the monastery forever, a book containing all human knowledge. But there was a catch. He had to finish it in one night. He tried. He failed. By midnight, he realized it was impossible. So he prayed, not to God, to Lucifer. He offered his soul in exchange for completing the book. Lucifer agreed. Herman fell unconscious. When he woke at dawn, the book was finished. Every page, every word, every illustration. Except one, the portrait of Satan. That Herman had to draw himself, as a tribute, as a signature. After Herman's death, the book was sealed away, but everyone who owned it reported the same thing: shadow figures, whispers, pages turning on their own, and an overwhelming feeling of being watched. What's truly disturbing isn't the size, it's the 10 missing pages. Originally, the book had 320 pages, but 10 were cut out, removed, destroyed. No one knows what was on them. Some say they contained spells to summon the devil directly. Others say they contained the true names of God, which, if spoken, would unmake reality. At the heart of it is this: the Devil's Bible doesn't just document evil, it embodies it. The book itself is alive, watching, waiting. And those missing pages? They're still out there, somewhere. The Book of Abramelin, Book of Sacred Magic. What if everyone had a personal demon? Not a metaphor, a literal demon assigned to you at birth. And what if there was a book that taught you how to control it? In the Book of Abramelin, written by the mage Abraham of Worms in the 15th century, you don't just learn magic. You learn how to confront your holy guardian angel and subjugate your personal demon. The book is a letter from Abraham to his son Lamech. In it, he describes an 18-month ritual called the Abramelin operation. You isolate yourself, you fast, you pray, you purify, and at the end, your holy guardian angel appears. Once you've contacted your angel, you gain the power to summon and control demons. But here's the thing: the demons don't want to be controlled. The book describes how they'll terrorize you. They'll appear as monsters, as loved ones, as your worst fears. They'll scream, they'll threaten, they'll try to break you. And if you falter, if you break the ritual, they take over. The book also contains magic word squares, symbols arranged in grids that, when activated, grant supernatural powers. Flight, invisibility, necromancy. One square allegedly allows you to reanimate the dead. Another lets you command armies of spirits. But every person who's owned a copy reports the same thing: hauntings, shadow people, unexplained bad luck, relationships destroyed, finances ruined, health collapsing. In the early 1900s, the infamous occultist Aleister Crowley performed the Abramelin operation. He reported success. He also descended into drug addiction, bankruptcy, and isolation. He called himself the Great Beast 666 and claimed to be possessed. This isn't about controlling demons. It's about becoming one. The Book of Abramelin doesn't teach you magic. It teaches you madness. Because the real horror isn't the demons outside. It's the one inside. The Grimoire of Honorius, Liber Juratus Honori. If the Pope wrote a book on how to summon demons, you'd get the Grimoire of Honorius. And yes, that's as messed up as it sounds. In the Grimoire of Honorius, also known as Liber Juratus Honori, or the Sworn Book of Honorius, you'll find one of the oldest grimoires in existence, dating back to the 13th century. The book claims to be written by Honorius of Thebes, a legendary magician. But here's the twist. The text also attributes itself to Pope Honorius III, the same pope who approved the Dominican order, the same pope who fought heresy, and now, apparently, the same pope who taught people how to summon demons. The book is divided into 93 chapters. It contains rituals for necromancy, raising spirits from purgatory, binding demons, and creating angelic seals of protection. The rituals involve blood sacrifice, graveyard dirt, and chanting names of demons in reverse. One chapter describes how to summon Lucifer's generals. Another teaches how to trap angels in sigils. Another explains how to bargain with death itself. But what makes this book disturbing isn't the rituals. It's the claim that these rituals are sanctified by God, that you can summon demons using holy names, that angels and demons are two sides of the same coin. The book was banned by the Catholic Church in 1559. Possessing it was punishable by excommunication. Copies were burned. Owners were tried for witchcraft. But the book survived, hidden in monasteries, copied in secret, and every owner reported the same thing: demonic oppression, night terrors, and the overwhelming feeling that something was following them. This isn't about faith. It's about corruption. The Grimoire of Honorius doesn't just summon demons. It suggests that heaven and hell are closer than we think. And maybe, just maybe, there's no difference at all. The Picatrix. If a medieval scientist tried to build a machine to control the universe and accidentally summoned cosmic horrors, you'd get the Picatrix. In the Picatrix, originally titled Gayat al-Hakim, or The Goal of the Wise, you'll find an 11th century Arabic grimoire focused on astrological magic, planetary spirits, and talismanic rituals. This book doesn't summon demons in the traditional sense. Instead, it teaches you how to harness the power of planets and stars. You create talismans under specific celestial alignments. You chant invocations during planetary hours. You burn incense made from powdered organs of specific animals. Sounds mystical, right? Not quite. The rituals in the Picatrix are visceral. One spell requires you to sacrifice a black rooster at midnight, mix its blood with mercury, and inscribe symbols on your skin. Another involves summoning planetary intelligences, cosmic entities that exist beyond angels and demons. And here's where it gets dark. The book describes how these entities don't care about you. They don't grant wishes. They manipulate reality, bend it, warp it. And if you're in the way, they'll warp you too. The Picatrix also contains detailed instructions on creating homunculi, artificial life forms made from blood, semen, and specific herbs. Once animated, these creatures serve their master. But they're not alive. Not really. They're abominations. Soulless. And according to the text, they're aware of it. The book was translated into Latin in the 13th century for King Alfonso X of Castile. He reportedly burned his copy after using it, claiming it opened doorways that shouldn't be opened. This isn't about summoning demons. It's about realizing we're not alone in the universe. And the things watching us from the stars? They're not benevolent. The genius of the Picatrix is this: it doesn't curse you with hauntings. It curses you with knowledge. The knowledge that humans are insignificant, that the cosmos is indifferent, and that magic isn't power, it's trespassing.